You out, sucker.
Basic training, part 2. Now, the training tips that will be discussed here are simple and basic training tips. They can be for beginners, winners, or chicken dinners. All right? Basic tips for training, or practicing, or guiding your instinct, or focusing your abilities, sharpening the tool, plowing the field, and there's many other terms and sayings that relate to or describe training. First and foremost, let's start with the old masters. The old masters would first ask you, what's in your spirit? Is your spirit fire, wind, water? Do you enjoy harming others? Are you one with your environment? Do you enjoy or can you handle the pain, bruises, slings, and arrows that you fling upon others, or that you fling upon your own body? What's in your spirit? Do you want to train? And if you do, how so? Now in life, y'all, you're going to run across many teachers, many pupils, and a few masters. All the while you cultivate the warrior, the guru, the champion, the fighter, the God within. Some teachers are going to tell you how you're supposed to feel. Some teachers are going to ask you. Some will guide you. And some of them are going to refuse you until you know how to feel and what to feel for. So in short, before training, question your spirit. What do you want? What is your goal? What is your path? Will you pursue it diligently? Will you pursue it continuously? Or will you get a few bucks, get a few nuts, get a few trinkets, and say flush it? The trainers of old would first build up your spirit. They would build up your awareness. And most importantly, they would build up your discipline.
I ought to know what you're doing without you saying one word. It ought to illuminate from you.
There's an old legend of a pupil who sought out a master to learn to be great in fighting, learn to be great in the combative arts. He wanted to be a warrior, in short, all right? And this pupil, he searched high and low to find this famous master. I can't remember what book we got this from, but I want to say it was some type of kung fu or samurai book. But back to the legend. The legend has it that the people sought high and low for this famed master, and he finally found the master. And he begged the master, please, let me be your student. And of course, the master declined. So instead of leaving, the student stayed around, hoboed around his, I guess his place of living. And finally, the master said, well, okay, well, if you're going to stay around here, you might as well start doing chores. All right? So the student, the pupil, did all the chores, the wood cutting, the cleaning, the cooking, the hunting, the raking, the fishing, the sweeping, everything to upkeep property, land, a home, and to keep their bellies full, so on and so forth. After some months had passed, the student again begged the master again, please, can you teach me? The master said, look, just keep doing these chores. Finally, a year had passed, and the student stayed diligent with his daily duties. He stayed diligent with all his daily duties, all his daily chores, and he asked the teacher again, will you please teach me? I've done all this work. So the master, he finally agreed. He said, okay, I'll teach you. Now get back to your work. The student, or aka the pupil, kept on with his daily chores, daily activities. And finally one day while the student was fishing, the master snuck up on the student and hit him with a tree branch. Pow! The student was hurt, looked around, rubbed his head, then he went back to fishing. Now the master would do this same thing daily until finally, after a few months, the student will be able to sense the master's presence. And then at first he would dodge the strike. He'd be fishing or he'd be mopping or sweeping, and he'd feel something coming his way, he'd dodge it. Whether it was a tree branch, a brick, a fist, a foot, he'd dodge it. A few months later, the master would sneak up on him, he'd sense his presence, and he would throw something, and this time the student will begin catching it, grabbing his fist, grabbing his foot, grabbing the item that's being thrown at him. Excuse me. So the story goes on, it goes on to explain how the student did not learn a single blow until years of building up his awareness. The master was in a natural way, was building up the pupil's awareness, his character, his discipline. So when finally the master began teaching the student maneuvers, he taught him full circle, baby, the whole nine. The master taught him all his knowledge, all his maneuvers, all his techniques, and all the philosophies and secrets to the art of fighting, to the art of the combat that the student sought out. And then the story continues on, and then you finally see that the student becomes great, and later on, at the end, the student becomes the next great master teacher. Now, after spirit, y'all, is the mental, your mentality.
Mentally, I can't be defeated.
How do you guide your training with your mind? How do you perceive and visualize your work, your goal, the outcome, your toil? Is your mentality flowing or is it crashing? Is it growing? Is it glowing? If you can remember the movie from the 80s called The Last Dragon, there was a song in the movie by Willie Hutch. It goes, "You got that glow, you fire your soul, you got that glow." Is your mentality glowing, y'all? Is it a mountain standing firm, or is it a constant waterfall? Is it figuring? Is it finding? Is it sawing? Is it grinding?
When he got him hurt, that's where he's dangerous, because he can come so many ways.
Find your mental outlook and then apply it to your training. Apply it to your craft. Apply it to your daily duty. Should your mentality be the same daily? Personally, I would say for the most part, yes. But can or should you change or adapt or bend or adjust or use different mentalities for your training and for certain tasks? Of course you should. Of course you should. That's a no-brainer. But you'll find when to do that in your training and in your contest and in your daily preparation. The mind perceives all things. The mind takes the invisible and makes it visible. It makes the unattainable attainable. It creates the unthinkable and destroys the unbreakable.
When I'm out here on the streets, I'm by myself. When I'm in New York, I'm by myself. And every day that I'm by myself, I can search my mind and I can instill my goal that much more farther, embedded in my heart. Like when I go to a movie and I watch a movie, I put myself in the movie and I'm telling myself, that's me after I win the World Heavyweight Championship. This is the way I trip.
Last but definitely not least, and probably the simplest part of training, is the physical. The physical, the body, the vessel, the clay, the dirt that you have to mold daily. Be still, be steady, be ferocious, be swift, be vigilant, be diligent, be excellent, be flowing, be exact, be mobile. Just be. The body is our vessel that carries all of our important organs. It's supposed to carry you and propel you to do anything you want to do or anything you must do. Anything that you put in your mind, your heart, and your spirit. So you must keep it strong. You must keep it ready. You must keep the body nimble and flexible. How else will you dodge arrows, and throw back fire? How else will you run on top of tree logs and jump over ponds and swim through rivers? How else will you be able to punch through concrete, put a hole in stone, and withstand iron, withstand metal, withstand lashes? Now, there are millions of ways to train and toughen and strengthen the body. Start now. Start now and push your limits. It's best to start small and then work your way up. Work your way up. Always push, push, push. Now, when uncomfortableness comes in and uncertainty comes in, maybe you should seek out a master or a great teacher. But you'll learn in the end that only you know your body. And depending on how great you want to be or how far you're willing to go, you'll find out in your training. During your training, during your physical exercise, your physical prowess, your physical diligence, are you willing to go to the brink of death? Are you willing to push yourself beyond the limits of the sky? How much are you willing to do physically to attain greatness? No matter how many head whoopings you may receive, how many ass whoopings you may receive, no matter how many times you get knocked down, no matter how many times you trip, you fall, no matter how many times an obstacle has slowed you, victory is always yours to attain. Victory is always yours to attain. One more time. Victory is always yours to attain.
Ali is fighting. This is when Ali was dying. The last round, the 14th round, Ali is dead. He has too much pain. He'd rather die than let somebody beat him. Ali is a fucking animal. He looks more like a model than a fighter, but what he is, he's like a Tyrannosaurus Rex with a pretty face. He's just mean and evil, and he'll take you in deep waters and drown you. He's very special. The best in the world.
So is that a yeah? Do you beat him? Or?
No, nobody beats Ali.
Nobody beats Ali. Wow. Okay.
It's not muscle memory. It's concentration. It's him doing it.
Right.
Pop, 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 pop. Never stopping, and he's dead tired. And I said, I can't beat that man. Hell, fucking no.
Students, warriors, journeymen, co-workers, skilled craftsmen, bums, hobos, alcoholics, do-gooders, do-batters, men and women alike, y'all. They often ask me, hey, coach, how long are you supposed to train? How many reps should I do? When do I stop? Where should I stop? Why am I training? Is my body supposed to feel like this? Do I quit if something hurts? All sorts of questions. And the answer is simple. How long should you train? Let's ask a master. How long do you train in a day?
Boy, the middleweight boxing champion of the world, Ray, has that, what is it, the left hook and the right cross? Something like that. How are they holding up?
Well, pretty good, Jack. A little sore, but you know.
Ray, when you get about ready to do a fight, how many hours of training a day do you do?
Well, it's the whole day goes to training.
In other words, from the time you get up in the morning, there's no canasta or gin rummy or bridge in the afternoon or anything like that?
Oh, yes. That's all helps your mental attitude. You have things of that sort, but you can't break training.
Come again? How long should you train in a day?
How many hours of training a day do you do?
Well, it's the whole day goes to training.
No, but how long should you train?
The whole day goes to training.
Discipline yourself. Discipline yourself. Discipline yourself.
You need to put yourself on punishment.
You know why the greats can get away with folly and mistakes and a mental slip or a breach in their training or win or succeed when they're tired or short of sleep or rest? Because they've already sowed and reaped the seeds of discipline. They've already focused for long hours. They've already soared to one mountaintop and they look forward to reaching others. Without discipline, there is no championship, no accomplishment, no true success. Improve your character. Improve your quality of life. Discipline yourself. Be diligent, baby. Love and peace.
War can, but not that sweet.
咁即係得啦。如果敵人你哋嘅身體只係3寸，你點對付佢？抱住頭匿埋，呢個用拳打出嚟。而家開始。
The best fighter and the best boxer in the world is a guy who has a calm quality about him. Well, that's true too, because once you get away from that, you lose all sense of skill.